Hey Cupcakes, Lisa here with this week's mindfulness tip. And with Sylvie. People often say dogs are really mindful because they're in the present moment. But actually, I think that's a misunderstanding of what mindfulness is. Mindfulness isn't about being in the present or being like immersed in present moment sensation. Mindfulness is actually being aware of where our hearts, our bodies, our minds are right now, and remembering to bring them back to the forefront of our consciousness. So actually dogs are not really, they just, as Sylvie licks her nether regions, dogs just don't have the kind of self-awareness that allows them to practice mindfulness. So they may be immersed in the present moment, but they don't know that they're immersed in the present moment. And so that brings me to this week's tip. This week's tip is a very, very simple practice, and it's building on the ways in which mindfulness is about reminding ourselves, literally remembering to come back. So we are hardwired, we have big old brains and nervous systems that have evolutionarily predisposed us to be distracted by things. So no wonder that our minds are all over the place all the time doing whatnot, right? So we practice noticing where we've gotten off to, right? And remembering to come back. So that's why in a mindfulness class, the meditations are guided, because in those kinds of circumstances, I'm trying to help people internalize that reminder to come back to the breath or to the body or to whatever the prompt is, whatever can help them wake up to the vivacity and vividness of this present moment. But we can also help ourselves remember to be mindful, particularly in circumstances that we know we will tend to lose ourselves. And we can do that with the magic of color-coded labels. So here's the suggestion, and these are not removable, so you have to be careful where you place them. But you can get some that are removable, so you can stick them on and pull them off like a Post-it note. And the idea with these is that we put one of these dots on places in our world where we tend to get lost. And for me, I use the colors to both, the dots themselves remind me to come back every time I see the dot, and the color reminds me a little bit of the habitual patterns that I tend to get lost in when I, in that circumstance. So let me spell this out with an example to make it more clear. So for me, the red dot here is all about, the red is all about heat and getting agitated and worked up. So I put these red dots on my computers, and I have a laptop and a desktop, and then I also have my iPad. And what I will do is I will put one of these on my computer. I won't leave it there forever, because if you have a kind of reminder, but the reminder is always there, then it recedes to the backdrop of your awareness. So I'll put these on maybe for a week at a time, and then I'll give the practice a rest. So I'll put this on my computer, and then when I sit down at my computer, this reminds me, particularly when I'm checking email, it reminds me to come back to my breath, come back to my practice, and to notice the arising of that kind of agitated, reactive energy that email, particularly work email, not email from loved ones, but work email can bring up for me. The blue dot, blue, color of water, color of emotions, color of spirituality, for me also the color of compassion. I put the blue dot on my mirror, so that when I look in the mirror in the morning, and I'm getting dressed, I'm washing my face, I'm putting on my lipstick, whatever, this reminder of the ways in which I can truly beat myself up, a reminder to bring my awareness back to myself with self-love and self-compassion, with a kind of generosity of spirit. And again, as with the dot on my computer, I won't always have the blue dot on my mirror. I will put it there and maybe leave it there for a week. And when I start to notice that I'm not noticing it, which is itself a kind of practice, I will take the dot down and let the whole system kind of refresh and recharge for a few weeks. The yellow dot, I don't know why. Yellow is one of my favorite colors, and it's also a color that I associate with patience, maybe because of the yellow of the stoplight. You know, red and then green and yellow is like waiting, like it's going to transition from green to red. I put this on the dashboard of my car as a mindfulness reminder when I sit behind the wheel to notice that arising of hurry and worry energy and the kind of impatience that driving will bring to bear, you know, which can percolate into, God damn those drivers, into that sort of road ragey moment, but can also be about the hustle and bustle where I'm just focusing on, I have to get somewhere. So the yellow dot on my dashboard, when I sit behind the wheel, this reminder, come back to this present moment, come back to a ability to linger in this moment, to notice the arising of that hurry energy. So these dots become reminders, concrete reminders in parts of our life where we tend to have habitual reactions, and then the colors help us remember not just our tendency to get lost. They don't just serve as mindfulness reminders, but they're mindfulness reminders that are also helping us cultivate a certain attitude toward ourselves and our world, whether it's an attitude of settling in patiently into the present moment, an attitude of noticing, gently noticing the arising of irritation and fire, and sort of being aware of that kind of ferocity that can emerge in work stress, for me, email stress situations, or this sort of watery self-compassion moment. Mindfulness brings with it a coming back, a remembering of our vivid present moment experience, and also brings with it the potential to soften our attitude and our heart qualities toward this present moment. Okay, that's all I got. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your practice. See you soon.